pull off the paper. Been smoking the other cigars with the paper on it, which is kind of dorky. But what do you expect? I'm not a seasoned smoker. But here we go. Utilize the camera to carefully light up the cigar. You could do a little bit of this. I always get the tobacco on my face, man. I don't think it's good to ingest tobacco, but trying to get the good rhythm between smoking, having my cigar, talking. And today's beer is Red Horse from the Philippines. In JK Skags imported, and it was, I read somewhere, San Miguel, Philippines or something, I don't know. My lips are all wet from the spit. But I'm going to cut most of the spitting out of my videos because it's not necessary. This beer is actually really pleasant. It's really good. Someone told me, oh, Red Horse is the strongest beer in the world. I doubt it. But it's really good though. This might be more of a very strong lager type beer. Kind of a cross between a Pilsner and a lager. It's not a stout at all because you can see through it. If you can see through the beer, it's not a stout. Because beers are, you know, they have different categories of beer. Cigars, but I'm not like a big cigar connoisseur. I enjoy the cigars, but you know. You know what? Okay, this is one of the funniest things that I think is really freaking funny. Because you know that allegedly there's like infinite number of genders, okay? So just to go on the bandwagon, I said to myself, I'm gonna identify. So I want to identify as Neapolitan. Neapolitan, okay? Have you ever seen the Neapolitan sandwiches? So I want to identify as a Neapolitan sandwich. Let me explain. So I want to be an African American Caucasian lesbian. So that's why I identify as a African American Caucasian lesbian. I used to have a lot more crude. I used to be more crude back in the day, but I'm not gonna be very crude because I don't think it's necessary to be so crude. So that covers that. So my wife and I are breaking up. It breaks my heart to break up, but the fact of the matter is that I don't see any other choice. She's very immature. Her emotional IQ is probably like 10. And emotional IQ, you know, you can look it up. I don't need to explain it, but emotional IQ is your IQ emotionally. Emotional IQ is the capacity to be able to be sensitive, to be empathic, to be able to feel other people's feelings, and to kind of step out of yourself. Not only step out of yourself, but also to know your own feelings. What you feel, why you feel, you know, like, it's also supposed to be a way to keep from being violent, because that's the one thing with my wife. She resorts to violence. And supposedly maybe it has something to do with the examples in her life. Okay? I'm not going to condemn I'm not going to be too analytical about that, because that's not my expertise. I don't really have any expertise. That's like what I was saying before. I'm a 45-year-old that doesn't even know what he wants to do with his life. So if you're, you know, in your early 20s, try your hardest to find out what you want to do with your life, because at this point, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. Just smoke cigars and make videos. That's really very pleasant. I have not felt like smoking a cigar for, maybe over a month, because of the COVID-19. Yeah, I had COVID-19. I could technically still have COVID-19, but not be a spreader or anything like that, or not be contagious. I could have the cells running around my body, but in my logic, they say, oh, well, your antibodies for COVID-19 is only going to last 90 days. So, wouldn't it make sense to be exposed to COVID-19 at least every 2 months, so your body will be able to fight it every time it gets it, instead of getting a vaccine that's questionable? You still have to wear your mask and do all the social distancing and still have the vaccine. How stupid is that? That's like wearing a seatbelt and not driving the car. You see, that doesn't even make sense at all. So there's this actress, super hot actress, okay? I'm not kidding. Her name is Gina Carano or something like that. She's Italian, super hot. I guess she was a MMA fighter or something like that. So she is fired from Disney for freedom of speech, okay? Yeah, I guess you're not able to say whatever you want these days. That's why with me, you know, I've never been a famous musician. Like, I was in a band for like 2 seconds. Weapon Elect. That was already over 15 years ago, man. The last time we played 18, 19, 20. I guess 13 years ago. It doesn't matter how long ago. I always get hung up on dates when I'm doing these videos. I guess it doesn't even really matter. It's not like I got famous from it. So I know that when people see TD Dammits, especially if I Google myself, TD Dammits doesn't come up. But my other YouTube videos, Timothy Dammits, it does come up. That's just more of an entertainment thing. So if you are interested, you could look up Timothy Dammits and then look at some of the stuff I do. Like I said in a couple videos ago, that, you know, please watch my other videos, but a couple videos ago is like, I'm saying, hey, I have too many hobbies. too many hobbies, you know. And then now with the TD Dama's channel, I'm trying to be a comedian, which I can only be funny when it's not appropriate. When one of my patients at work is aggravated, or one of my coworkers are aggravated. And then, of course, I always resort to the friggin' most crudest thing. Just like my Neapolitan thing that I said there. It's kind of crude. African American Caucasian lesbian. Because you can't just be a man. You can't be a male. You can't just be a female. You got to be non-binary, whatever the hell that is. It's like electronics. You can't be non-binary in electronics because you got your switches on or off. So if you're non-binary, that means you're just, yeah, a whole different level of connecting and switches and all this digital thing. Because binary is a digital code, in case you don't know. It's a series of O's or ones and zeros, one and zeros, all these crazy sequences. That's coding. I don't know anything about coding really. Basically, in a nutshell, you got infinite codes. It's just like the DNA is a code. The DNA, you got your chromosomes X and Y's, and then they say, oh, well, you got X's, Y's, XX, Y's, Y's, X's, all this. Dude, there's only male and female. But then again, you can't say that. So if anybody asks me, I'm a lesbian. I'm a African American Caucasian lesbian. I like to smoke cigars and drink beer. That likes guns. I'm a lesbian that likes all kind of stuff. That whole lesbian thing, a male being a lesbian, that started like in the mid-90s in college. It's like, really? That's when I started experimenting with women. My first kiss probably was in 5th grade. It was in 5th grade. Actually, I enjoyed it a lot. Probably too young to enjoy that kind of stuff. And then 96, had a girlfriend. That's when it started to get weird. That's the first time I put my hand somewhere I shouldn't have. Yeah, and I was a Christian. You know, the Bible says, do not stir up love before it's time to do it. And there's pastors and preachers that teach, well, the first time you have sex, that means you're married. You don't need to go through a ceremony. You don't need to go through no courtship and all this stuff. It's like, oh, okay. Which, no. That's just weird. That's just like justifying uncontrollable hormones. It's like, okay, you have sex, that means you're married. It's like the whole abortion issue. Teach people to abstain from sex until you're married. Abortion is not birth control. It logically follows if you're out being promiscuous and having sex, and then the woman gets pregnant, because men cannot get pregnant, contrary to, you know, whatever they want to like brainwash people to believe. Men cannot have kids. Kids is kind of a slang term. It means baby goat. Which, right now, if you look at society, most of society is just a bunch of goats. And the sheeps and the goats are being separated. So like that one song, gotta keep them separated. I think that's Offspring. I mean, the Offspring singer, I think he's some sort of freaking wild atheist. Or maybe not, I don't know. I know the guy from Bad Religion, he's some professor atheist. But atheist is a religion too. They deny it. because that a belief system, a belief that there is nothing. Good luck with that. Ooh. Gotta cut that out. Ooh. Ooh. I inhaled it. So, yeah, I hope I'm doing a good job being funny. Being funny, you know, is something that, you know, it's comedians, I don't know how they do it. You know what they do? You know, I heard that they read all these newspapers and they find out what's happening. Just like today, okay, today's the impeachment thing, okay. Let's see if I can make a joke about impeachment. So Donald Trump, my Uncle Don, got impeached again for the second time, and they took it to the Senate, and the senators, supposedly you have to have 67 votes. They got 57 votes. Well, if you're a numerologist person, like, you know, some of these videos, they get all these codes. See, again, with codes, you got all these numbers, and all these numbers mean different things. It's 57. To me, 57 is like the grace perfect, you know. It's like God's grace is on us, you know. I'll tell you right now, I would never vote for Uncle Don again, okay? Uncle Don, if he somehow becomes president again for the balance of the term, cool, because he did a lot of good things. Prison reformed, freaking immigration reformed, having a relationship with Israel, not Iran, but with Israel, because Israel's a democratic society, a democratic system in the Middle East. So we need to have some good relationship with the Middle East. We need it, you know, that's like maybe Israel's the big brother of America or whatever. I don't even know if you could even use that terminology, because like I said in a couple videos ago, if you could watch my other videos, the United States is like a mother. But now it's like a mother with Alzheimer's that doesn't even know what's going on. And if you try to redirect the United States back to reality, like if you have someone with Alzheimer's and you're redirecting them back to reality, you could, you know, aggravate them, make them all really confused and upset. But in my experience working with Alzheimer's people, in my experience, I've learned that aggravating the Alzheimer's person is a way to get their juices flowing and making them feel something, helping them to feel something. You can't make anybody to do anything, but if you help them to feel something, I think they respect you for that. A little bit of poking them, you know, maybe that's, but of course, you know, with my wife, when I was aggravating her, it didn't end well. It made her pissed off and want to fight me. So I carried into my relationship the way that I deal with Alzheimer's patients. If that even gives you any insight, I don't know. One more note. China, okay? I think this cigar is not made in China. This is made in the Philippines. Actually distributed in Irvine, California. This lighter, made in China. Works good though. But I wonder if they stole the technology. You think they stole the technology from Americans? I don't know, it's a good lighter though. I'm not really sure exactly how the USA got so entangled with China. But let me just tell you this before I go. China does not have a very strong military. Supposedly, they only have one aircraft carrier that's old that they bought from Russia. The United States, they have a lot of aircraft carriers. Did they buy the aircraft carriers from China? I don't know. But when you look at the Modelo, because, you know, Corona is the name of a beer, has nothing to do with the virus, but it's the crown of beers. Corona in Spanish, well, Corona in English is crown, because the virus has little crowns on it, and that's how it does its garbage freaking crap. So the only advantage China could have on us is by weakening society, weakening the people of the United States, because they need an advantage on us if they're going to do anything to us. I know that's not comedy, but like today's Saturday, February 13th, 2021, and I made a rhyme today. 2021, I said that before. 2021 is going to be more fun. 2021, we should be done. Well, whatever the case. Hope you kind of enjoyed my fake little comedy like thing. Not really comedy, but there's a lot to this thing going on, into this world. Maybe I could condense this, add some music. I'm a 1990s kid. I went to high school from 90 to 91, and that's where Christ found me. And maybe one of these days I could share my testimony, how Christ saved me, because I did not save myself, because I still believe to this day I was spiritually dead, and then Christ came, the Holy Spirit breathed into me the life, just like in the Genesis story. The Spirit went into the mud, the clay, and breathed life into Adam. And then, you know the Genesis story, read it for yourself. It was the Spirit. Just like when you breathe, it's called inspiration. Respiration, inspiration. It's when you breathe, and when people die, it's called expiration, because they're expiring. That's when they breathe their last breath. Every breath you take is providential from God, and that's how China could use this stupid virus to take your breath away. Taking your breath away. That's bad. So keep your breath. Know your breath is from the Lord. Know your breath is from the Lord. Know life is from God. And the giver and taker of life is God. This, I swear, this is the most creepiest freaking time to be alive. I'm 45, and this is the creepiest freaking time.